Hello, and welcome to another Blu-ray update video. So I think the last one I put out was like over a month ago, maybe longer, and it was going to be like a 7-part series, and then I just crumbled under the weight of everything else I was doing. Yeah, sorry about that. So this is part 3, 4, something like that, and it's already ballooning. Where more, there's a few other things I've got, and it's just like, God, this is like. There's one video in this planned series of 7 where I've got about 23 titles in one video to talk about, and most of them I haven't seen, and I keep telling myself, well, I'll watch a bunch of them before, but I don't have time. And then that's the whole question of being a collector, and it's a whole other thing, right? But let's bash out another one here. This should be a quick one. There's only 6, I think, in this stack. Oh no, there's definitely more than 6. There's 8. So you've seen the title, you know what we're talking about. It's the HMV Premium Collection. I grabbed a number of these maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago when they went down to the 2 for $15 offer, which is a great offer, and I have almost 2 full shelves with this. I'll have 2 full shelves on my other units of premium collection tiles. They look really nice on the shelf, I have to say. I don't have all of them. I don't plan to get all of them, and I think that they're kind of slowing down their output now. If not, they might have discontinued it entirely. But let's just get into some of these, and I'll give you my thoughts on why I picked up all of them. So I haven't ordered this, I just grabbed the stack as it's been sat on the bookshelf for months and months and months. So this is Spine number 153. It's a good thing that, you know, with Massive Cinema, that they got me with the spine numbering thing early on. You know, I was latched in, but the premium collection, I was like, nah, it's not bothered, you know. So I'm glad that didn't pull at me to collect all of them. So this one is from 1969, and the film is Winning. I believe this is Charlie Sheen's favorite film. Do you all remember that weird phase? Winning, Tiger Blood, winning. Like, the fuck was that all about? Anyway, so Winning. We have Paul Newman. We have Joanne Woodward. So the famous couple. Here we can see locking lips there on the back of the case. I am a big Paul Newman fan. Anything Paul Newman, I want to see him acting opposite his wife. I don't know whether they're married at this point in time. I think they probably were, 1969 at that point. I'm all in. I want to see it. I don't think there's any extras on this release, but yeah, it looks like a racing movie. You know, I know how much he was a fan of racing, race cars, and very passionate about that. So that's also kind of knowing that he is really passionate about the subject that the film is based on is something that kind of draws me into. Then we have something I'd never heard of before, but just looking at the cast, I was really enticed by this one. From 1988, spine number 151. This is Running on Empty. So River Phoenix is a guy who I just feel compelled to watch anything that he's done, basically. Sidney Lumet directed this, and it's I think it says it's an Academy Award-winning screenplay. Yes. No. Golden Globe Award-winning screenplay. Yeah, well, that's not quite. Oh, it's only a Golden Globe. Martha Plimpton and Judd Hirsch, you know, and so this is. See, I bought this so many months ago, I've forgotten what the actual story of the film is. But I remember reading it and going, yeah, I'm in for that. River Phoenix, Judd Hirsch, Martha Plimpton, never heard of it before. 1988, the year of my birth. I love 80s movies, so it's one of those things. Let's just have a quick look here. So Judd Hirsch and Christine Lahti play anti-war activists who blew up a napalm lab in 1971 and became lifelong fugitives. They and their children have stayed just one step ahead from the law, running from state to state. I think I stopped reading there. So this is kind of like an activist family on the run, running on empty, and they're with their kids. And yeah, so I like the sound of that. Again, looks like there's no extras on that one. This is one that I had to kind of scramble to see if I already got it when I was on a Jimmy Stewart kick. Last year I was watching Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, amazing film. Harvey, incredible. And I was like, do I have that other one in the premium collection? You Can't Take It With You. And I didn't, so I picked it up. You Can't Take It With You. James Stewart. And who's his leading lady here? Jean Arthur. Nice. So I don't really know anything about the story. I don't need to. There is a commentary by Frank Capra Jr. and another featurette with Frank Capra Jr. remembering the film. This is, of course, a Frank Capra movie. That alone kind of gets me drawn into it too. But really, James Stewart, I'm in for anything that he ever did. Amazing actor. Love him. Oh, and that was a film from 1938, Spy Number 75. The next one I have here is Spy Number 143 from 1981, a film that I last saw during a rainy day in history. It was one of those kind of... I had a cool history teacher, Mr. Britt, who would sometimes show us stuff on the TV that we weren't really learning anything, and it was vaguely tied to history, so we'd watch like Blackadder Goes Forth, you know. So he was a cool teacher, and this is one of them. It's technically a war movie, I guess. You know, I could just read this from the back. This is no ordinary soccer match. This is war. The battlefield, a stadium in occupied Paris. The armies, German all-stars versus ragtag Allied prisoners of war. Yes, this is Escape to Victory with Sylvester Stallone. And the focus is on my face. Maybe the camera doesn't want you to see Sylvester Stallone. Let's get a bit closer. There we go. So I have very, very, very vague memories of this. You know, Michael Caine, Max von Sydow, Pele, John Huston film. Like it just seems like a film that it's a fever dream. Like, did I actually watch this in history? Did I learn anything from it? No. Was I entertained? I think so. So I'm intrigued to go back to that one and just, you know, it almost feels like it's not a real movie. The next one, it's kind of like an iconic film, I would say, 1971, Spy Number 41. It is the hard-hitting original that started it all, Shaft. And that's kind of the way you should always kind of announce it, Shaft. So we have the original movie, Shaft, hotter than Bond, cooler than Bullet, John Shaft, a shut-your-mouth detective to reckon with. Yeah, it's just one of those kind of classic movies that I've never seen, don't even know too much about. I remember that when the Samuel L. Jackson movie was coming out, and I was a little bit intrigued, but I almost went to see it, but then just didn't at the last minute, I think. I was a teenager then. This has a behind-the-scenes documentary, Soul in Cinema, filming Shaft on location, and a TV episode from 1973 called Shaft the Killing. So, yeah, pretty cool. I'm very, very hugely, massively, gargantuanly short on knowledge when it comes to blaxploitation films. I've seen Coffee. That's about it. It's a really good film. Coffee is the color. And then the next one is 1982, Spy Number 144. I was drawn in by the cast on this one. It's called Death Trap. I'm a big fan of Christopher Reeve. I really like Michael Caine. And yeah, it's I read on the back it's kind of a sharp thriller comedy, and that you know, just the premise kind of made me think of things like Knives Out and maybe even Murder by Death. I don't know how close it would kind of toe in line with those kinds of films, but it definitely grabbed my attention. And then the next one is a film I have seen. So this is, and remember, from 1940, Spy Number 149. And this is directed by Ernst Lubitsch. So it's one of those weird ones where it's, you know, it's, because he was, I've seen more of his silent work from, you know, from like 1910s, I think, in Germany. But yeah, this is The Shop Around the Corner. And one thing I always say about this film if you were to make a drinking game out of every time someone says, "Oh, Mr. Matichek," you would die within the first 30 minutes. I think it's Mr. Matichek, with the rapid kind of 1940s. "Oh, Mr. Matichek, Mr. Matichek." Like it's just constant throughout the whole film. So, and it's set in Budapest. Everyone speaks English, but it's a lovely film, and was of course the inspiration that led to You've Got Mail, one of my favorite movies. I have You've Got Mail on Blu-ray, and it comes with a DVD of this film, which me and Connie watched in one of the 24-hour movie marathons. But I definitely wanted to get it on Blu-ray once they released this in the premium collection. This has a couple of special features. There's a couple of radio versions, I think. The Lux Radio Theatre broadcast from 1941. But yeah, Lou Beach, James Stewart. It's a good film. I really like it, but I have to say I am more partial to the You've Got Mail version of the story. Call Me a Millennial. Next up, the final one from 1997, Spine number 150. This doesn't have any extras, but it does have two different versions of the movie. The main feature presentation is the extended original cut of this film, aka the Golden Harvest version, with 10 minutes of additional footage reinstated, newly remastered and restored, especially for this release with a 4K scan from the original camera negative, and also included is the New Line Cinema version of the film, featuring the many changes made to the film both in terms of footage and a different audio mix. I am, of course, talking about Mr. Nice Guy Jackie Chan. I kind of feel like I've forgotten that Jackie Chan even exists. I've been on such a Hong Kong journey this past 6 months or so that it's like, oh yeah, Jackie Chan exists. And I've been watching all these films from Hong Kong that I've been falling in love with that he's not in. And it kind of brings me back around to how I originally got into these films in the first place. And it's Jackie Chan. And this one I've never seen. And I'm highly intrigued to check out. Know nothing about it, but it's Jackie Chan. It's Blu-ray. I'm all in. It's just one of those must-buys for me. So, 8 very different titles. 8 very different films, no doubt. Leave me your thoughts down below. Have you kind of... have you bought many of the premium collection titles? And the 2 for $15 sale is a really fantastic deal. Like, you're getting a nice slipcover. There's usually some good extras and stuff. And once they started importing like the Paramount Presents stuff, you're getting really great transfers too. So, you know, $7.50 per title. I mean, I think, I'm not sure if they've done it again recently. And I need to look up if they've kind of discontinued the line or not. Not that it matters, but that was my my little Blu-ray update for the premium collection. Coming later on in the series of 7, a humongous Eureka update, a pretty substantial Mubi update, and that's kind of a branch of titles, a label of Blu-rays that I've kind of become sucked down into a deep dark hole with. And then there's a miscellaneous, and then I think, and then there's another one which is more Hong Kong based. So stay tuned, watch this space. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.